All right, cool.
All right. When beginning your coaching business, what are some things you do differently and why? Good question.
So if they're starting their coaching
Yeah,
business,
yeah, like if you could redo your business, knowing what you know now, like what would you do differently?
um, it's a good question. I don't really know. I took on a handful of people like for free up front just to kind of prove like I could help people get some results for those who took obviously the free serious. Um, I don't know. I'd probably like try to push myself to be better at social media, but that would really be it. I don't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. You could still be better with social media.
100%. Yeah, I was literally
Um,
gonna, you took the words out. I was gonna say like definitely still be better at that.
yeah. What I would do differently is I wouldn't like go so far beyond the scope of what should encompass coaching to appease clients, right? Because I definitely had a couple that were very demanding when that's not really how coaching goes. You know what I mean? Like
You're right.
asking for changes like weekly on stupid things, stuff like that. Always inputting their feedback. And you create a monster when you like allow that. But like having started out, didn't have many clients, wanted to have retention, was having a little bit more bend than I typically would.
That's actually
Um,
a really good point. I didn't even think about. I'm gonna touch on that after you're done. That's a really good point.
yeah, but that's something I would do differently. Like at the end of the day, if you're hiring me, like let me do my job, right? Like I've done this at a pretty high level. I've helped quite a few athletes at a pretty high level and have done successful with it. And whereas feedback is invaluable, obviously you got to give me feedback every week, but like when we're constantly trying to like change the direction of things or throw our 2 cents on everything that we're doing in the programming, it's like, all right, we're not gonna fucking co-coach, right? You're gonna hire me to do a job. Like feedback is one thing, but like we gotta actually have some faith and follow the plan here at the end of the day. That's what I would do differently.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's a phenomenal point. So I would definitely not allow myself like such quick reply, and meaning like after certain hours of the day, right? Like work hours, sure. See the message, I'll reply to you in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. But like answering people at 7, 8 o'clock for retention purposes, like you said, right? That's a really good one. And then like we've gotten better, both of us, I'd say, with setting that boundary. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
I, you know, if if there's a check-in time and you're a grown adult and you can't check in by 10, I think you're what, 11, right now?
yeah, yeah.
Like, come on, dude. 11,
Unless you're
11
unless you're
a.m.
work unless you work like a night schedule,
No, so
like
yeah, and
that's
that's different.
different,
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like you can't wake up 5 minutes early to take your photos and fill out the check-in form. Like, I'm not asking a lot of you. It's kind of a respect thing for your coach because realistically, like we have structures to our days too. Like we don't just like fucking lollygag all day. It's like, oh, check-in rolled in, let me do it. Like, no, like we got families, we have to train ourselves, we have other
Yep.
clients we have to take care of. We have obligations, we try to structure our days like an actual work day. We have schedules.
Yeah,
So
right.
when you're like, oh man, I have a busy day, I'm not gonna be able to send coach check-in until 5 p.m. tonight, like don't expect a response. Like I'm fucking
Yeah.
taking care of my kids at 5 p.m. Literally, I'm in dad mode at 5 p.m.,
But before we just got on here, what did I just tell you?
Yeah, you just had a check-in roll in.
Somebody just checked in 7 hours and 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
Like, if you think, like, it's just without even an explanation.
All right.
It's like, come on. And they're on East Coast time. They're on our time. So, it's not West Coast, right? Where it's like 2 p.m. there. They're 7 hours. You're 7 hours late, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, so, um,
Anything else you
but
would
yeah,
add to that one? Anything you would do differently?
no, that's a go. I would set the boundaries sooner. Um, Not only just like the response times or being people messaging me out of hours and getting back to them late at night and such. Also, my personal fucking phone. I would have set that boundary way
Yeah,
sooner.
yeah.
Like, do not text my personal cell phone where I'm texting my close friends and my family. I'm not answering work related shit, especially when we have a fucking full app now with a full chat log. Like, for some reason, I don't know, like people think like, let me text this phone. I guarantee you're going to get a quicker answer from us where you actually where if you message us where we coach from.
Yeah.
You know what I
I don't
mean?
get a lot. I don't get a lot of that, fortunately, but I have
Yeah, well, I
seen
mean, I've
people.
done better at setting that boundary. Like, you don't text my phone if you don't get an answer on our app within 10 minutes. If you think I'm going to answer you quicker on my phone than I am with during work hours on where we work, it's just you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so
Um. All right. What's the hardest part about being a coach?
do you honestly, it's learning how to work and adapt to working with all different types of people. And that is not just from body types, different ailments, like different blood work things, different goals. Like that, to me, that's the easy stuff. It's dealing with so many different personalities, mental health, mood swing. Like that to me is the hardest part because now we got to navigate, all these different people and you got to learn how to respond, right? You got to learn how to coach them around a way that's going to work for them. So I think that's the hardest part. It's because it just takes time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mill Flover said, "Yo, my
Milf Lover,
parents,
what's up,
my
buddy?
pa-"
Um. Yeah, dude. I agree 100%. It's like the
yeah,
relationship management, and it sucks because like the longer we do this, this type of shit is gonna happen because there are shitty people out there, you know. But it's like you and I go above and beyond for our clients. Like we really do care a lot. We give so much of ourselves to them, our time. And, there's always going to be those people that leave and then start to shit talk,
100%. Yeah,
and that's part of relationship management, and it's fucked up, right? Because you and I are not malicious people, right? And we know what we're doing.
yeah,
So like when somebody leaves and for whatever reason likes to make an enemy of you, it's awful. It just shows that there's a lot of shitty people in
yeah,
the
we
sport.
know
So
we know all too well about that, don't we?
yeah,
Both of us. It's crazy too because how many calls have we both had where somebody gets on and like they're like, "Hey, I need a new coach because it takes me 3 days to get an answer." Hey, I need a new coach because I can't get them on the phone. Hey, I need a new coach because it's been 5 years and they haven't checked my blood work. Or hey, my
yeah.
hormones are
I'm on 600 calories and 2 hours of cardio a day for prep.
yeah, dude. Or
Like,
yeah, or like it's just and then but like you said, me and you not being malicious at all and like actually going out of our way, bending our back, um, it but it doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
But
it's just any industry that you're ever going to work in, you're going to deal with people like that. It's
of
just the
course,
nature. It's just the
of
nature
course,
of being alive and
of course.
communicating with people.
Absolutely.
It just like you said, the whole relationship management tends to be a challenge at times.
Yep.
Because again, we're hired to do bodybuilding and lifestyle fitness, but like we get, our clients have a lot to share with us, and it becomes, it can become a challenging part of the job. So,
Yep.
Milf Lover, you tore your pec. I'm sorry to hear that.
Did he?
If it was a full tear, get surgery, dude, because it's gonna look so fucking bad if it just, heals and your insertion point of your pec is in the middle of your chest. So, if it is a full rupture, definitely get surgery and then worry about anything else after that. However, BPC and TB, you definitely should be using to help the recovery, whether you get surgery or not.
Damn, I can't see that comment, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely get surgery, MILF lover, like Matt said, for sure. You don't want to just like let that misshape and whatnot go. And then BPC, TB, and you just got to get that surgery as quick as you can, right? Because you don't want the tendon to start to heal. And then secondly, you just got to get a good PT. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to be probably really important, and one day at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Agreed.
you know what I mean. What else can you do? Just one day at a time.
Yeah. What's the one thing people don't know about you?
I love bowling. I mean, actually, I'm actually a pretty fucking good bowler.
What you average?
Before I tore my quad tendon, I had a 203 average.
203. Wow, that's
That was
good.
my average in the one league the one Thursday night league I was in. I had a 203 average. I bowled the day before my quad tendon tour a year and a half ago, and I bowled at 267. That was my best game.
Damn, dude, that's fucking good.
Dude, I
Well,
mean, dude, you know me better than anybody. I fucking bowling's my shit.
I know. Yeah, you haven't went in a while. So Mill Fuller said it wasn't a full rupture. Mobility is definitely limited. Woke up the next day, bruised, swollen from my armpit to my chest. So
Did you see an orthopedic doctor?
I was gonna say you gotta get an MRI, dude, because if even if that thing isn't fully torn, but it's north of 50 plus,
Oh, it's going.
it's gonna go. You're gonna have to get it done, dude. Because
So
even
how?
when I tore my bicep, mine was like 50, 60% torn. And like looking at my arm, you couldn't tell shit. It wasn't even that bruised. You couldn't tell by my muscle belly it hadn't retracted. But doctor said he's like, dude, you would have, you fucking the thing was basically hanging out by a thread, so you would have tore it definitely if you didn't get it done.
Yep. Um,
Yeah, don't skimp out on the MRI, dude. Definitely get it done.
the
Oh, one, sorry, go ahead.
I pulled the check-in that came in 7 hours late, and just in the additional comments and notes, it just says, "You are the best coach."
Sly fella, sly fella.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude, I would get to an orthopedic doctor. And it's gonna have to be like a stat MRI. How did you do it, MILF Lover?
I hope he doesn't say bench pressing.
I was gonna say, I want to know.
What's something? Oh yeah, I didn't answer this question. Something you don't know about me. I'm pretty good at skateboarding. Like any place or anytime, give me a skateboard, I'll kickflip.
Weren't you skating like a year ago?
Last summer, yeah, because they had gotten fresh blacktop on one of the roads over here, and I was like, I
You
can't
sent
not
me a
skate on
video of you
this.
doing like a kickflip or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. What's your take on everyone becoming a coach? We've gotten this a handful of times.
I mean, just very, very blunt and honestly, I feel like there's so many now, like they do a show or they get like a friggin' $100 personal training cert. They like I said, they do one, two shows. They're not even in true shape. They don't have good mentorship, and like everyone's just becoming a coach, right? I think that the ones that don't get results though are being weeded out a little bit more because you see like some people just claiming they're coaches and like either you barely see them posting any results because let's be honest, right? What do you and I do? We've got a good transformation after six months. You post before and after. So like if you've got clients and you're getting good results, you're going to post your work up because at the end of the day, social media is everything, right? It's free marketing. So you see people posting about it and they barely are posting results or I don't know, man. I just think that it's so oversaturated at this point that I would say one in maybe every 50 people that are posting that, and I might be even being gracious saying that, it might be one in 100 if we're being honest, it should remotely be able to, should even be able to morally take somebody's money and actually help them. That might be
Yeah, well
being
said.
nice.
Well,
10% might be
no,
being nice.
well said. I think it's kind of like two things right now. I think one with like how bad the economy is and how poor wages are, especially in the younger age groups, who have went to college and are now in debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're making dog shit money at some job that like they don't have a degree in their field for. They look at it like, oh, hey, I just did a show, I have some credibility, I can make a little bit of extra money doing this, right? And it's fucked up because, like you said, like one out of every 50 to 100 of those are really going to actually have their wits about them and be able to, do this and do the right things, seek mentorship, like all that type of stuff, right? Um, Not just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks.
Yeah.
And then on
Yeah.
the other end of it, I think outside of the monetary piece, I think the other aspect of it, the ones that do one show or get some, notoriety on social media, want to start, offering coaching, I think it's ego. Um, One thing we know now, and it was probably heavily as a result of how big social media is, people have these crazy egos that just need to be stroked left and right.
Yep. Yep.
And they want to be looked up to and admired like a coach and tell people what to do. And, oh, I know how to do this the best, right? I think a lot of people want to stroke their ego and start coaching that way. And, again, one out of every 50 to 100 of those people are going to actually have their wits about them and be able to do it the right way and actually, provide results, right? But it's just stupid because, whether you're natural or not, like bodybuilding is inherently not healthy when you're getting ready for a show.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's riskier being on enhancements, but like, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing with regards to all that shit, and you have the audacity to take money from people and say that you're helping them, it's really a fucked up thing to do. It tells a lot about an individual. So yeah, that's just my take on that. Don't do something you're not qualified to do. If you're going to do it and get into it, like make sure you have the right mentors, make sure you have the right oversight, because you don't want to fuck up somebody's health or waste somebody's time.
No, it's an all great point. And I also think too that a lot of people don't realize like if you're trying to coach people, you're taking people's money, you have their health in your hand, whether they're enhanced or not. Like you have to be, there's so many different layers to actually coaching, right? Like you got to be able to communicate with people. You've got to be able to get back to people in a timely manner and be able to effectively and efficiently and respectfully communicate a message, communicate a goal, and communicate feedback, right? Because really what we do as coaches is all about feedback, right? And building a mutual respect. So, like, if you're a 22-year-old, you did one show, you got in decent shape, you have a good physique for a young age, and like you just want to start, hey, I'm going to take 20 clients on and charge them $500 a month just to make extra money. The chances are you're going to get weeded out within 6 months to a year, in my opinion, because you're not going to be able to withstand what people are desiring from a coach. Because, like we just said 10 minutes ago, dude, one of the hardest parts of coaching is learning how to navigate and deal with not everybody being the same. Everybody's different. So you have to coach everybody exactly from a clean slate differently. How they handle communication, how they handle feedback. What kind do you give them critical feedback? Do you give them uplifting feedback? Like most people are not able to do that. You have to learn that over time, right? And that's just the first layer. And then it's being able to read lab work, getting a good mentor, like you said, you know what I mean? Knowing what you're freaking doing. Not saying you can't learn. Maybe pay one or two good mentors for your first year or two, just like you would to college, right? You don't get that slip until you're done 4 years, right? Same kind of concept, I think, that we should have in coaching, right? If you ask
Mm,
me, there should be some form of barrier of entry, and there's just not. So I think that's the biggest thing.
well said. Yeah, had some comments here in the chat. So
I can't see shit.
Muffler is going on about how he just tore his pec. He just got back into benching.
What was it benching?
Yeah. And Joe said there's a science
You
behind being a
son of a
coach.
bitch.
You don't understand how the body musculoskeletal system works. You hurt someone if you're not educated. Yeah, well said, Joe. Do you do form checks? Yes, we both do form
We
checks. I'll be
do.
honest, it's like more of a pain in the ass to get the client to actually send the form check than it is to than anything.
Yeah,
Because how many times you ask for form checks and people don't send them, which like
100%.
I understand a lot of these people train in prime hours and they don't want to fucking bust out their tripod or
I
ask
get it.
somebody
I get it.
to record them. So like I'm not a stickler on it, but like it is important. If we're not executing right, we're not going to grow.
Right. Yeah.
Number one thing you see wrong with today's society.
Uh, just society in general?
Yeah.
Oh God, the fuck, dude! I feel like we just went on a 20-minute rant on the phone earlier. So, I mean, how do we want to go about this question? Like, do you want to just pick one thing, or like, because like,
Dude, just however the fuck you want, dude.
I-
It's our podcast.
it one of my biggest things the last like few months that I've been noticing, and obviously as you know, it's just the incompetency of people. It's like when an answer is right in front of them, and I'm not just talking about clients or a plan. I'm talking just in general. Like, and then they're just, it's like it's right in front of you, right? And like if you would just read instead of, we're in such a society of instant gratification. Like you want a direct answer, you want an answer now, but like sometimes it's just right in front of you by reading an extra 3 seconds, and then it's like you're messaging and you're going on, but like that's just in life in general, dude. Like the incompetency level, I feel like because everything is so just on demand anymore, right? Like somebody's internet goes out, they don't know what the fuck to do. Their power goes out, they don't know what the fuck to do. So it's just there's a lot of incompetency, and I think that's like a huge fucking issue in society.
Yeah, I
Pe
would agree
people
with
people
that.
can't think for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people really do lack problem solving skills these days because there is a process to that, right? What are the possible solutions to your problem? How do I get there? If I don't know what to do, what do I do next? So I'd agree. That's a big one. I think a couple other things. I mean, it kind of goes into the incompetency. It's just financial illiteracy. Yeah, it's a huge problem in society today. It's just everybody wants the next iPhone, and their 4 years are up on their lease on their car, and they want to get a new lease because they want the new model, and they want to go to college just because everybody says they have to go to college, but they don't know what they really want to do, and they just get a degree and underwater basket weaving and they're $200,000 in debt, paying $1,500 in student loans every month on top of all this shit, and then couple that with the fact that the economy is so fucking bad and the prices of housing is so high and interest rates are so high, it's like impossible to buy a house in certain areas in the country.
Terrible.
It's like all these things, just being financially illiterate on top of just, general incompetency. I think they kind of go hand in hand right now. And
A great, great one.
I think the last one is just a lot of lack of morality, right? Like I'm not a super religious guy, I am to some extent, but I think having everything gotten so far away from like, God being involved in things, it's people have pretty poor morals. I mean, it's it's pretty shitty out there how many shitty people there are.
I mean, I hate to like say it, but like, how many times have you and I been extremely good to somebody and we just got fucking crapped on?
Yeah, 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 exactly.
What did
Yeah.
Jason said? People are too entitled. 100%, dude. And then Milf Lover. What do you think? Is Steve's beard natty? Yes, my beard is all natty.
Yeah, he actually got a hair transplant on his face for that.
Yeah, I
This
skipped
is the
the head.
spiciest podcast ever. It's not that bad.
The spiciest?
It's not bad. We're going
What's
on. We're having a good conversation.
what's that? What's that mean?
Is it optimal to have ChatGPT write me a training and meal plan for? Yeah, actually, just name
For
your
the
ChatGPT.
Just for the Mr.
Name
Olympia.
name it Hani Rambod. Name that GPT Hani Rambod, and you're good.
What did Sam
Well,
say?
that's
Is this
what
is the
that's.
spiciest podcast ever?
It's not that. It's not. We're not going in on anything really. We're just kind of having a
No,
conversation.
we're just answering our questions.
I'm done on questions, by the way.
All right, let's see what I got. Um, if you could pick only three markers to look at when reviewing lab work, what would they be?
That's like impossible, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
That's
just
that's not. I can't even answer that. It's like, what am I gonna
well,
say? TSH, okay, like that's out of whack. Now I have to go and get fucking four other things pulled. Like if
yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know, it's not. I can't do just three.
Yeah, no. So no, I don't. I mean, a metabolic panel. You should pretty much.
But that's like a whole fucking panel, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna
All
say
right,
it's a whole
all right. If I had
panel.
to do three, I'll do testosterone, cystatin C with EGFR for kidney health, and T3.
That's fair. We can dictate a little bit of the thyroid there.
Right,
We can dictate a little bit of the hormones, and then we can just see if they need dialysis. Perfect.
right. I mean, this does not pass for like somebody's lab
No.
check, but I'm just saying for the nature of answering the question. Fuck
Where
it.
do I buy steroids? You don't. Steroids are bad for you, Milfold. Don't ever touch those bad drugs. Oh my God. All right, let's see. At what point do you guys as coaches decide if you need to add more drugs to determine a better look?
Fair question.
It is a very fair question. So, I guess I guess we'll answer this around a prep standpoint in a
Yeah, yeah,
sense,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
Because obviously it's way more perci well, it's precise in the offseason, but you know, what I mean, there's a lot more being used and there's a lot more compounds being used for a certain to get that desired certain look.
You're going for an extreme look. So obviously that's when the
Right.
drugs are going to
So,
make the most difference. So
exactly, right? So, I would say obviously like if Matt and I have a full cycle planned out, there's obviously going to be tentative changes to some drugs based off of, hey, like, is this person's look at 8 weeks out dictating? Do they need another AI, right? Or do they need more? Or, hey, can we pull that off to 4 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever it may be? So it's one of them things that it's like, it's so on the fly. Like someone could check in at 8 weeks and a day out, and the next day we're supposed to start that next phase of the protocol. You and I be like, hey, you're not starting T3 and T4 tomorrow. You don't need any more clan. We're going to up it from 40 to 60. You don't need that. Hold off. So like it's so it's all indicative on look and feel, look and feedback. So I don't necessarily know that like you and I were just going to add more trend because we think it's going to lean somebody out when we're going to go. The first thing we're going to go to is where's their cardio, where's their stress, how's their sleep, where's their inflammation, right? Well, look at the feedback they're giving us. How low is their food? Where's their cardio? And then we're probably just going to start refeeding, diet breaks, pulling back some, right? And then before we push again. So I would say that we're probably going to look to add more dosaging of drugs in like a totality of where they're at last. If I had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't think we're going to give somebody at 6 weeks out more tren or go from 25 to 100 milligrams of Winstrol because they didn't lose 3 pounds in the 5 days they checked from when they checked in prior, or like they don't look tighter. Might just they might just need less food. Sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, you just need more of a deficit. You just got to push a little harder. You need 10 more minutes of cardio. So I don't think Matt and I are going to go to just adding more drugs first to achieve a look, as opposed to just looking at every other variable first.
Yeah, well said.
Um, so you got anything you want to add to that?
I don't think so.
So the same person asked another question about PEDs. What is the most common PED mistake that you guys see that ruins people's physiques?
Mm, common PED mistake that ruins people's physiques.
Honestly, we could just go to this last question. You're fucking doing too much.
Yeah, I
And then
was
they're causing more
watching that.
inflammation. It's more injections. It's more oil their body has to absorb. I would say that's probably what it would be.
Yeah, more gyno.
Yeah, or not knowing where the fuck their blood work is prior to just blasting drugs, right? Like if you have high estradiol and you're going in and you don't know like how much of an AI you need and you're starting to blast MPP or DECA, like you're just asking for a disaster.
Yeah, and one of the things that I don't know why is kind of getting popular in the younger grouping of fellows getting on gear. I don't know if it's like some influencers in that area or what, but they're like afraid to take AIs. They think that we're gonna any level of anti-estrogen is gonna crash their estrogen and their dick's not gonna work. And it's like, dude, I have seen people on 150 milligrams of TRT with 130 estrogen. Like you will absolutely fucking aromatize if you are natural and you already have relatively high estrogen and you're going on testosterone, going into abusive dosages. You are without a fucking doubt going to have high estrogen, and the side effects as a result of that, rather than running a little bit of AIs, is gonna far outweigh not taking them, right? Like you're gonna get bitch tits, you're gonna feel like shit, your hormones are gonna be fucked. Like you're gonna be all inflamed with the fucking high estrogen. It's
I mean, if you
dude,
ask me what the two scariest side effects you get from PD, like doing it completely ignorantly and without proper guidance, it's your dick not working and gyno.
yeah.
I mean, really, what else is worse? All right, so the next one I have is, what do you guys think is the most misunderstood concept or part of competitive bodybuilding?
Misunderstood.
I would say number one, that everyone's just like a fucking steroid head taking a bunch of shit, and that all bodybuilders who are on gear and PEDs are douchebags. They're just so common misconceptions and labels that are just so far from the truth.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, there are definitely a lot of douchebags in the industry for
There
sure.
are, there are, there are, there are. You're not wrong. But like, or that like if you take testosterone or PEDs, you're just gonna have like roid rage.
Right. I mean, not making a mistake about it, some people definitely do not
Oh
handle
yeah,
drugs well, you know.
no, no,
But
no.
like, you're not if you take a little bit of test and you roid rage, that's a you problem.
Oh yeah, that's you. That's all. That's all you. Ain't the test.
No.
All you. All right. If somebody has to bring up a weak point, do you add more volume or do you tell them they have to train more intensely?
Train more intensely and likely frequency.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say sometimes if somebody's not bringing something up, maybe that's when some of those form videos come in, like we were talking about earlier, where we can make sure they're like doing something right or they have a good tempo and control, right? Mechanically speaking. And that I would say intensity is probably going to be the first limiting factor of why somebody's not growing.
Agree
right?
100%.
100%, right? So
Because
like,
realistically, dude, like we have our own styles of how we program. It's relatively low volume, high frequency, so relative volume over the week is still, considerable. But high intensity, dude, we could take that programming and give it to somebody who trains at 60% intensity, and take another person who trains at 100% intensity and put them on a four set of 10 type split, like
yeah,
high volume, low frequency, and they're going to still get better results than the person on the more optimized split, because intensity, to your original point, is, in my opinion, the single most important variable with training.
exactly. So like, if we have you doing two working sets, for example, say Matt tells you on, I don't know, incline dumbbell bench press to do two working sets of, I don't know, 8 to 10, and you're at 10 reps and you know you can get 15, you're not training intensely enough. On top of possibly not having the right form or tempo, right? So, but I guarantee you, if you take both of those working sets to exact mechanical, good tempo failure, you don't need more. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people think you need to do more in the gym. You need to be in there longer. You need more sets if you're not improving. And sometimes it's just as simple as slow shit down and make sure you're doing it right. Typically, I see this is the same clients that don't send their form videos.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're
You know what I
100%
mean?
right. Yeah,
So,
dude. On my push day, for example, I do two straight sets on an incline press. I do two straight sets on a slight decline press, and I do two straight sets on a pec deck. So six total sets.
yep.
Dude, I couldn't do another movement if I wanted to. There's no
No,
shot. I'm fucking
no.
spent.
When I called you today and we were speaking earlier, I told you I did how many working sets for quad? 7.
Yeah,
And that was two sets where I felt like I was going to die on the pendulum squat. Two sets on the true squat, I thought I was dying, and literally 3 sets on the leg extension. That's what I did for quads. And I was literally fell into the car to get home. So it's like if you train intense and you train right, don't you love like when somebody's like, "Hey, Matt, how'd you get your chest like that?" And you're like, "Yeah, I do it like maybe twice a week, but I do like 5 sets each time." And they're like, "There's no way. I'm in the gym. I do 7 things. I'm in there for 2.5 hours." So,
yeah, nah, it's too much, man. If you just gotta learn how to train hard and isolate the muscle you're training.
yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. Um, how do you determine if somebody's behind in a contest prep, right where they need to be, or ahead?
Well, the main factor is conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, conditioning relative to how hard we're pushing, right? If they're 8 weeks out, we got a good 8 week outlook, but we're like fucking digging them pretty hard. Like, okay,
Right.
maybe we're not in a good spot right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically a conditioning relative to how hard we're pushing
Yes.
and
Yeah.
how they're feeling
Yeah.
and how they're feeling.
Yeah. And I think too, like if you get somebody on stage already, they're in great condition, you kind of know exactly where they need to be, and then we can reference their previous pictures. But I think at this point, Matt and I have so much valid experience with getting people in shape on stage that we kind of know like where somebody should be for what division. You know what I mean? So I don't have like a rule of thumb for knowing. You know what I mean? But again, I feel like that's the difference between coaches who get people in shape and don't.
Yeah. You know what they should look like at a certain point.
Yeah, yeah, and like how do you explain that though, right? That's my point, dude. Like how do you explain if like somebody's like, how do you know that? You just don't. You
Well,
just
it's the
do.
it's the it's the art of coaching. That's why
Yes.
like ChatGPT would never have that concept because it's not a sentient being, you know what I mean? Like
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Or like Milf Lover say you could just chat GPT your whole fucking did you see his thing here? He goes, y'all shouldn't be sleeping on me. He rode to 200 pounds on the way, coming for that silly boy Matt Norman IFBB card. Dude, we gotta train with this kid like one time, dude.
Yeah, well, now he
When
tore
you,
his
when your
back. He's
pec is
fucked.
better, yeah.
Yeah, we got to do a leg day or something.
God, oh yeah, he would die. Um, what is the hardest type of athlete to coach and why?
The lazy athlete.
Yeah, I was gonna
This
say
is
someone who doesn't listen or someone who does everything they're being told but questions everything or thinks they know better.
yeah.
And didn't you say something like that like when we first started the podcast like 40 minutes ago, you said like, you know,
Yeah,
it like all it's crazy how everything like kind of ties in, you know what I mean?
coming full
Um,
circle.
all right. Do you guys think bodybuilding has become too drug dependent instead of actually learning how to train intensely and making sure all the other boxes are checked off that make you a great bodybuilder?
I don't know. It's like a hard question to answer because, you know,
It depends.
we only know like how much people are taking with what they say, because like there's a ton of people out there on the internet that's like
Lying.
winning pro shows saying they take fucking 300 milligrams of test and 300 milligrams of masteron. That's
I
it.
would
But like,
believe Phil Heath that I would believe somebody like Phil Heath.
all right, he's a fucking outlier, all
But that
right.
but that's
But
my point, right? How just like rare it is, right?
yeah, yeah, but like back in the day, like guys didn't really talk about it, but the guys that you knew that were open about it, that were actually winning shows, getting pro cards, and like it was way harder back then. I mean, they're like, yeah, I'm taking 1,500 milligrams of test and 700 tren, and like, so it's like, I don't know, when was it more drug dependent? I'll tell you, there were a lot harder workers back then for sure. But now we also have the introduction of every peptide under the sun and new metabolic activators and this and that. So like, I don't really have a good answer to the question, but there are so many tools that everybody's so gung ho to start using now. So probably yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. And then this person, their client, he just pretty much wrote me like one, two, three, four, five. There's six things here, but they're like quick questions. Um, and then I just had one more. What would you, so I'll answer them, I guess the more in depth. We could answer the more in depth one first. Would you rather have a competitor be more conditioned and under muscled or under conditioned and more muscled? I would rather have somebody slightly under muscled and more conditioned.
Yeah, I think the only like potential outlier to that is like maybe like bikini or wellness,
Right, right, right.
because it depends on what look they're kind of going for. Because if it's sandy and it's bikini, like I'm definitely going for a softer look.
Yes.
If it's Tyler and it's bikini, I'm going for a harder look.
Right.
you
So
know.
that could be
But
the difference between 5 pounds. True 5 pounds.
sure, right. But like pretty much across the board beyond like those types of scenarios, yeah, I'm gonna go for the harder guy for sure, especially the NPC, because like realistically, you're only gonna see a few guys that are like truly capable that um, for the most part, and those guys do well. You know,
100%. I mean, how many guys have we seen even at the national level, dude? A middle, a light heavy that's 190. They're smoking dudes at 198 at the top, and 8 pounds of muscle is a lot, but they're just more conditioned.
yeah,
How many heavyweights do you see at USA's in North America? They're 210, 205 on stage, and they're smoking 225 because they're just in better condition. So, um, all right, so we'll go through these rapid questions. Would you guys rather push food or push drugs?
push food,
Push food. Do you guys find that higher cardio, medium cardio, or lower cardio work better to get people in shape?
medium.
Fair enough. T3 alone or
Wait,
T3?
can we talk about that one for a minute?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
okay.
I think like everybody loves to gloat like, oh, I got in shape doing 45 minutes of cardio. Only have to do 30
Weren't we
minutes
just
of
talking about
cardio.
this? Weren't we just
Yeah.
talking about this?
Yeah, we've been talking about coaching a lot lately. Because for those that aren't aware, we talk on the phone every day, and it's most oftentimes not about work. It's just about life. But we've been talking a lot about coaching lately. But yeah, like everybody loves to like gloat, and like that's cool, dude. Like if you can go and like actually get in great condition, and you're doing under an hour of cardio, like great job. You guys obviously had a great prep, right? Like
And
that's
we
what
and
that's
we
what
have
game's for.
clients who have only needed 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But we've also had clients where you are going to need an hour, hour and a half of cardio for a
Yes.
certain period of time. It's not going to be
Yes.
16 or 20 weeks, but at like 8 weeks out, if you're like 45 in the morning and we're like, hey, you got another 30 minutes coming post workout, and it's from 8 to 4 weeks out, like don't be alarmed. Like everybody needs different
Mm,
things to get in true shape. It just is what it is, right?
yes.
My most heavily muscled client is on zero carbs and does an hour and a half of cardio. And he's got more muscle than anybody that I think
Doing more
either of
muscle
us.
than I do, dude. he's yoked out of his face. Everybody's like,
Yeah,
this is fucking bodybuilding. It's supposed to be hard.
yeah,
Remember that. It's supposed to be fucking hard. It's supposed to
yeah.
suck
It's not
dick to
easy.
get
Like,
peeled.
like even like this whole thing of lifestyle clients. Oh, I don't go. It's just some coach. Oh, you don't go 20 more minutes. If somebody really wants to get in shape, you need to get on. You need to get comfortable with doing uncomfortable shit that you've never had to do before. Not saying that if you're just trying to get in shape for the summer, you're going to have to do an hour plus of cardio. But if you're only used to doing 20 minutes and we tell you to do 35, like just do it.
Yeah, it's really not a big commitment there. And realistically,
Oh,
it's just for lifestyle people, it's just the shift in lifestyle. Like people aren't used to weighing their food. Like make it be
no.
normal to you. It takes 20 seconds to weigh your food. Like you wanna your health is your most important thing, realistically, because all the shit stressing you out right now, if you get a fucking cancer diagnosis tomorrow, none of this shit fucking matters because it's your health.
Yep.
Right. So,
Fucking
you know,
amen.
get used to like if you really want to take it seriously, get used to changing these things and enjoy it because you're going to be better for it. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better.
Yeah, the problem is everybody says the goal they wants to get to, but when it comes to actual action, they, some people just don't want to do it. But I also blame social media for part of that, maybe 25% of that, dude, because there's always somebody on social media trying to one up. I got this person in shape on great for you, but that's one out of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, um,
Yeah. Just want to make that point. Like, don't be afraid to fucking work hard.
no.
Once you got somebody who has you at 2 hours of cardio and you're eating fucking nothing, not getting refeeds, like that's when you should be alarmed, right? This is the territories of danger at that point. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
right. Um, all right. That was actually turned into rapid fire to a good explanation there. T3 alone or T3 with T4?
depends.
Exactly. I was gonna say, sometimes it's both, right? Sometimes somebody's T4 is fine, and like we don't have to worry about the T3, hopefully, crashing it, right? And obviously, you don't want low T4, especially when you're trying to lose weight and get in shape. But I also think too, like this whole thing, like there's such a bad fucking name about T3, T4. Like as coaches, good coach, like you're using this for your overall thyroid health because when you want to diet down for a show and get to this extreme level of body fat, men or women, you need T3 and T4. You don't have a magic fucking thyroid that like nobody else does. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean it's rare that guys like if you're getting truly peeled, it's
It's
pretty rare
very
that
rare.
it
Right.
happens. Like I have a few clients that don't need it. I don't need it, but for the most part, most people in my experience are going to need T3 to get like truly peeled. And again, this is
Yeah. Again, like I
it,
said,
it
it's a rare scenario. You like I never use T3 to get in shape, me personally, right? But like David doesn't really need it, right? But I'll use it as an insurance policy to make sure that motherfucker gets inside out peeled past his norm at the end, at like 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, something like that, right? There's some people that need that shit at 16 weeks out, 12 weeks out. It
yeah.
just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's varying levels of down regulation. It's entirely athlete dependent. That's why it's good to do multiple seasons with the same coach because we're able to understand this based off of how you're progressing when you hit walls and of course your labs too. Like when we have people that have really resilient thyroids, like typically you'll find this out after 6 weeks post show, they get their labs done and their fucking thyroid is perfect. T3,
Yep.
T4, everything's perfect. Like, right, this
Hmm.
motherfucker's got like those are the type of people I don't typically use T4 for, because generally speaking, it doesn't get as down regulated as the T3 does. So
Yep.
when I have somebody with like a resilient thyroid, I'm generally not using it. But oftentimes when we are digging, the T4 will be impacted as well. That's how
Yes.
we use it, you
Yes.
know.
100%. I would say 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 people are going to use T3, T4 to get in
Yeah,
shape.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fasted cardio, useful or overrated?
Definitely useful.
That's what useful. Cheat meals, are these a liability or a tool for you guys? I think
Well,
it could be
it could be
both.
both. Yeah, it could be both. Like if you're, so to me, generally, it's just a tool. Like when it becomes a liability is when, I'm a few weeks out and I need to better control this person's refeed, that's when it becomes a liability. But other than that, like I'm not too worried about one meal out of, 40 that you're eating that week.
Right, right. Um, Training to failure, necessary or overused?
Necessary
Yep.
to failure or close to failure.
Oh, yes, I was gonna, yep, yep. Um, and then there's two more. Adjust food first or cardio first?
Oh, depends. How hard am I pushing on one or the other?
Yeah. Um, would you guys rather have a 16-week prep or 24-week prep?
For myself,
I get, we'll just go based off a client.
client, it depends on the client, but generally speaking, 24.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little longer. It's always gonna be. I like to call it insurance time. What happens if you're pushing your coach and you're like, I'm starting at 16 weeks out? And what happens if at 12 weeks out, we're just starting to get started, your metabolism's starting to shift from peak off-season food, right? Say if you didn't have like a little pre-prep where we try to start to sensitize you, and then say at like 12 weeks out, you get fucking sick with the flu. You're done for minimum 2 weeks, right? Before your body's going to respond, you know? Um, but so I would say the longer you have, the more slow, steady pace your prep's going to be.
Yeah, that being said, neither of us do 24-week preps with all of our clients. Want to make that clear?
No.
I have clients that start as little as 14 weeks out. But if I had to pick a sweet spot, 20. 20 is
I
long
agree.
enough. 24 could get long. Like, that's half the fucking year you're dieting.
Yep, yeah, yeah. I would say 20. If it's like a female, for example, or like a guy where like they hold a little more body fat even as we have to push their food just to get their metabolism in a better spot, or just their food needs to be higher to go into prep so we actually have stuff to pull from for a longevity period of time. I would say like they're still going to have that cheat meal in until probably 18, 19, 20 weeks out. But maybe I'll just lower their overall base food, maybe their off days a little. Maybe I'll start to implement from 20 to 30 minutes of cardio, right? Something simple just to get moving, right? Maybe at that time too, even add in like a 20 micrograms of cleanse just to get that fat burning going. But you keep your food where it's at, something like that. But again, like we always say, everybody's so different and we can implement so many different things with so many different people. So there's not one way to prep.
Yep.
So um that was all I have. They were pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it.
Thank you, everybody. Be back in a couple weeks.
See you guys.
See you guys.